I haven't consumed any Star Wars content since The Rise of Skywalker, which came out in 2019. Since then, the only Star Wars content Disney has put out has been a bunch of shows, which frankly, I have no interest in checking out. But now in 2026, we finally have a new Star Wars movie, which is The Mandalorian and Grogu. It stars Pedro Pascal, Sigourney Weaver, Martin Scorsese? Anyway, in this video, I'll be reviewing this film from the point of view of someone who hasn't seen The Mandalorian and is only really familiar with the Skywalker saga. And if you enjoy this video, feel free to subscribe, I would appreciate it very, very much. So, did I enjoy The Mandalorian and Grogu? Well, I enjoyed some of it, but ultimately I found it quite underwhelming. It feels less like a movie and more like a collection of episodes of The Mandalorian. Granted, I haven't seen The Mandalorian, but this film is structured like a TV show. It has an episodic feel, almost like a collection of side quests. As soon as the film gets going, it slows down again like a reset, just like a TV show. It's hard to even tell what this film is about, because it switches storylines every 40 minutes or so. And what makes it worse is that these storylines are tonally inconsistent. That can work in a TV show, but in a movie, you can't be switching tones every 40 minutes. There are very few films that pull that off successfully, and I'm afraid this isn't one of them. At the end, it winds up feeling like this wasn't even meant to be a movie in the first place. But hey, neither was Mulholland Drive, and that ended up being a masterpiece, so I guess it's not the end of the world. Although The Mandalorian and Grogu does a much worse job adapting to the new format. But anyway, what's the rest of the movie like? Surely it's at least well made on a technical level, right? Well, in some ways, yeah. Ludwig Göransson did the score for this film, and it's by far the best aspect of this entire project. It sounds like Star Wars music without being derivative. Visually speaking though, the movie's a mixed bag. I like the puppetry, as well as the occasional use of miniatures, but in terms of camera work, it doesn't get much more rudimentary than this. There's not an ounce of personality to be found. All the dialogue scenes are nothing but shot reverse shot, and the action sequences are borderline mind-numbing. They're expensive, yes, but lack suspense and intention. I'm not saying I didn't find them entertaining, but I certainly didn't find them engaging. I find this film's colors to be surprisingly muted and dull, aside from a few scenes here and there, but overall, I wasn't impressed. I also wasn't impressed by the acting in this film. Pedro Pascal does what's asked of him, and he does it well enough, but Sigourney Weaver is completely phoning it in. I don't necessarily blame her, it's not a very exciting project, but still, it's a bad performance. Jeremy Allen White plays Rodda the Hutt, and he himself does nothing wrong, but I'm not really a fan of the vocal effects this film gives the character. There's a slight echo whenever he speaks, and I find it very distracting. As for the more minor performances in this film, I just don't find them very convincing. It gives me high school play vibes, and not in a charming way. But Martin Scorsese is actually pretty good in this, even though he barely has any screen time. His character is some sort of monkey with 4 arms, easily my favorite character in the entire film. Not that there's much competition, I find most characters in this film to be pretty shallow. I like the relationship between the Mandalorian and Grogu, but the characters themselves aren't very interesting, at least not in this movie. I assume they're more fleshed out in the show, but keep in mind a lot of people are coming into this movie without having seen the show, myself included. And having seen this movie, I feel no urge to check out the show. I simply didn't connect with this film at all. I think it's messy and way too long. For the final 45 minutes or so, I was just waiting for the film to wrap up. And once the film did wrap up, I was instantly ready to move on with my life. Because while I was occasionally entertained, and even touched by The Mandalorian and Grogu, I don't see this film leaving any impact on me. It's not a bad movie per se, but if I had to describe it in one word, it would be lame. And as for my rating, I'm giving The Mandalorian and Grogu a 4 out of 10. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.